I would like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of February 17th, 2026. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera? Here. Councilmember Escobedo? Councilmember Soto?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Here.
Mayor Patino?
Here. We'll now move on to public comment. I have public comment. Madam Clerk, can you give the criteria for public comment?
Yes, once the public comment period has commenced, no further comments will be accepted. Just as a reminder to the public, speakers may provide public comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for public comment period. Unless the majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954, 2A2, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Thank you. I have one request to speak, and that's right, Rockland. Is that right?
Correct.
Thank you. Good evening.
I timed this at about less than 4 minutes. Interactive machine gun war games should be prohibited in the Guadalupe Branch Library. They are currently permitted without parental knowledge or consent. The last 5 years have seen a rise in national firearms fatalities and K-12 school shooting incidents. 48,204 people died from firearms in the U.S. in 2022. There were 308 K-12 shooting incidents with 273 killed or wounded. The following year, there were 352 incidents. We are the only country in the world where guns are the leading cause of death for children. Interactive machine gun war games train children to pursue, shoot, and kill from the first-person point of view. The Guadalupe Branch is located across the street from Kermit McKenzie Middle School. Interactive machine gun war games are not permitted at McKenzie. However, upon dismissal bell, children, almost exclusively boys, proceed directly to the Guadalupe Branch, fill the bank of computers, and machine gun until 15 minutes to closing when the computers turn off. This has been a long-standing circumstance to the point that years ago, the former Santa Maria head librarian said, well, at least it gets them into the library. This is misguided policy. In the library, children playing machine gun war games are not reading, doing homework, studying, socializing, or even sitting quietly. They are disruptive, predictably, often with gruesome conversation, discouraging other students and other patrons from using the library properly. The policy demonstrates disdain for parents and children. Guadalupe youth are well-behaved. In general, intelligent, enjoy reading, writing, studying, doing homework, playing chess, doing puzzles, socializing, receiving approval and praise from their families. In contrast to the former head librarian's comments, they do not require violent, murderous imagery to enter a library. Add to that, the content is disastrous. Studies show that children who play a video game that included violence with guns were more likely to touch a real disabled handgun, handle it longer, and pull the trigger more times, including at themselves or their partners. Reported habitual exposure to violent media was also a risk factor for dangerous behavior around firearms. Santa Maria Library policy undermines the Guadalupe School District's efforts. Library employees supported the petition and expressed their frustration with attempting to supervise children playing these games. Over the years, many of those that have worked in the branch say they would prefer these games not be allowed. Turnover is high. About 30, 40 seconds.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Over the years, many of those that have worked in the branch say they would prefer these games not be allowed. Turnover is high, pay is near minimum wage, and no travel expenses are reimbursed. Only one employee supervises the branch. No volunteers are permitted. This as opposed to, for example, Orchid, I believe there's 3, or the main branch, which includes a guard and often city rangers, all wearing bulletproof vests. There are numerous easily accomplished measures that can be taken to remedy this situation once the council agrees to do so. This petition reads, at the Guadalupe Branch Library, children should be encouraged to check out books, to do homework and study. Children should not be using the library computers to play interactive machine gun war games, much more so without parental knowledge and permission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The City Council will now recess to a closed session and will reconvene to the regular portion of the agenda at 5:30 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please read the title of the closed session items?
3A, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to California Government Code 54956.8. 3B, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to California Government Code 54956.8.
Thank you. We will reconvene at 5:30. I would like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Rick Garcia. Mr. Garcia is in the back. Raise your hand. And if you need a listening device, if you would like it for interpretation services. Antes de llamar a la Junta a orden, me gustaría notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta y el señor Garcia está ahí sentado atrás. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of February 17th, 2026. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera?
Here.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Here.
Councilmember Soto?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Here.
Mayor Patino?
Here. City Attorney, Mr. Watson, would you like to give the closed session report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With respect to items 3A and 3B, both real property negotiations, instructions were provided to the negotiators as to the position of the council. No further report is necessary.
Thank you. We will now present a proclamation proclaiming February 21st through the 28th, 2026 as National Future Farmers of America Week. And Councilmember Flores will be doing the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It says, whereas the Future Farmers of America and agricultural education provide a strong foundation for the youth of America and the future of food, fiber, and natural resources systems, and whereas FFA promotes premier leadership, personal growth, career success among its members, and whereas agricultural education and FFA ensures a steady supply of young professionals to meet the growing needs of the science, business, and technology of agriculture. Whereas the FFA motto, learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve, gives direction and purpose to these students who take an active role in succeeding in agricultural education. And whereas FFA promotes citizenship, volunteer, patriotism, and cooperation. Now therefore, I, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaim the week of February 21st through 28th, 2026 as National Future Farmers of America Week. And the Santa Maria FFA chapter is here to receive the award.
As Ms. Flores said before, FFA is a great organization for students coming from Rigetti FFA, Pioneer Valley FFA, and we're from Santa Maria FFA. We have so many opportunities within our school, and we just wanted to quickly say that thank you for offering this opportunity, and we are so excited. And I hope you guys will see through our newsletters all the activities we plan throughout our week.
We also wanted you all to keep an eye out for future invites for our banquet. If you guys have any questions, please contact Mr. Guerra or any of us afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, and every year I get invited to the banquet, and if you want to see a well-run banquet, go to an FFA banquet. Nobody talks over the amount of time they are allotted, or or any one of these young women will pull you right off the podium. It's and just to see all the achievements that these young people are making throughout the state, and they go around competing in different areas. So I look forward to always going, and it's so nice. But if anyone has a chance to go to an FFA banquet at the end of the year, it's a real treat. And you get to see what our kids are doing in Santa Maria, and they're just doing a wonderful job. And I want to thank the Guerras, because the Guerras are at every single high school, and they certainly represent FFA well. So thank you all for being here tonight.
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Escobedo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to get Mr. Guerra on the spot and see if he can tell us a little bit of what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So it's, I know you mentioned there's some exciting participations you guys are going to be putting out.
Yes, you know, in fact, I think that the kids will do a great job because they know
Very
more about their activities. Can I get the president from Pioneer? Okay, I know you have some activities coming up. Come on up here. And then you can tell us about some of the things that you're currently doing. Tell them about that state championship you just won as well. Okay? And then from Rigetti, we also have the Rigetti president as well. Come on up here. I know you have some activities coming up. And then you just heard from the two Santa Maria kids as well. Okay, our president and vice president, as well as Evelyn is also the sectional, Santa Barbara section president. So, okay.
So obviously we have a lot of sectional as well as chapter events coming up. Actually, Rigetti is hosting a couple of events. I don't know if Maya would like to speak on those.
Yes. So Rigetti has plenty of events planned this whole week, and actually this Wednesday and Thursday we invited schools from Santa Barbara section to attend our events here in Santa Maria at the mall. We'll be holding a movie and jumping at Sky Zone, and we invited all of our local schools to attend. So that's our plans for this week, for National FFA Week.
And championship, you mentioned?
So
Show
Rigetti
off.
FFA actually just won Fruit Tree, or?
Yes, we won Fruit Tree pruning at Fresno State Finals this past weekend. So.
And then Pioneer Valley won citrus judging at Fresno State Finals as well.
I know I put you guys on the spot, but I want you guys to, show off that. I know you put a lot of effort. All of you guys do a great job, and I want people to see that, and everybody who's also watching us on their computer to know what you guys are about. So thank you for everything all of you guys and all the FFA team do throughout the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item will be a presentation of businesses of the quarter to be given by the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'd like to invite up Advanced Wireless, Dan Rudnick, and Kim Rudnick Chavez. Advanced Wireless has been serving our region since 1984, more than 40 years, staying rooted in Santa Maria. Over that time, technology has changed completely. They started the days with pagers and two-way radios, evolved into cell phones, added surveillance systems, and today their main focus is something that touches families and business everywhere: reliable, high-speed internet. What makes Advanced Wireless stand out is their commitment to solving problems others often overlook, especially bringing fast, dependable internet to rural areas where the big guys can barely reach. And they continue to build on their roots by providing professional business radio systems and commercial surveillance cameras, helping local companies stay connected and secure, particularly when cell phone service isn't enough. They are not done growing, now expanding with competitive pricing into more areas to give residents and businesses more personal choice for internet service. Advanced Wireless, thank you for your service, your adaptability, your commitment to this community, and congratulations for being named Business of the Quarter.
Thank you, Mayor Patino, council members, city staff, chamber. We really appreciate this honor to be recognized for the 42 years we've been in Santa Maria. So when we first started, cell phones, the internet weren't really available. And when we did radios and cell phones were first installed, they were bolted into a vehicle. They weighed around 20 pounds, and they didn't even work very well. So from that point, over the years, we've moved from two-way radios, pagers, cell phones, surveillance systems, and an internet provider also. But one thing has not changed. When items get broken, people want to call somebody. They want something that they can get fixed. They want to call someone they can trust and who also answers the phones. So one of our first customers was a large agricultural company, and they came to us and said, hey, we have a piece of equipment that's not working. And they said, it's already been to your competitor, and it's not fixable. Good luck. So we said, okay. We secured the process, found the problem, and fixed the equipment. And so what we have learned from that experience has kind of founded how we continue to do business. We take the tough calls, we stand behind the work, and we try to earn long-term relationships. So, and now I'd like to turn over to my daughter, which is also the next chapter of our business.
Thank you. This recognition truly means a great deal to our entire team. While our company has been serving the community since 1984, that wasn't just because of one person. It was because of everyone involved. The employees who dedicate their careers to this work, customers who place their trust in you, and a community that supports local business. We have one employee who's been with us for 26 years, and that kind of commitment has helped shape the culture and stability of this company. Growing up around this business, I learned that success is built on relationships. Showing up for your customers, supporting local families, and being part of the community, not just operating within it. Our main office has been in Santa Maria from the beginning. This community has supported us for over 4 decades, and for that, we're deeply grateful. Thank you again, Council and Chamber, for this honor and for supporting local businesses like ours. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, but
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Escobedo wanted to make a comment.
actually a question or a time for you guys to let us know how can we reach out to you guys? If you want to come to the mic, so. This is also time for you guys to promote your business.
So probably the best place to reach us would be our website. It's going to be advancedwireless.us. There's always our phone number as well, 805-922-2252. We do have a storefront, obviously, but, you know, people can call us, reach us on our website, things like that.
Always happy to hear from anybody.
Yes.
Go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next company I'd like to call up is the Friends of the Santa Maria Public Library, and that's Kathleen. Kathleen here is the board president of the Friends of Santa Maria Public Library. They're a nonprofit organization that was established in 1982. They have a simple but powerful mission: to promote reading and support the Santa Maria Public Library. They raise funds and secure grants for library services and programs that might not otherwise be possible, helping strengthen the literacy and learning and opportunities across our community. Their story is, their impact in the community is real. Over 4,000 volunteer hours, partnerships that create service opportunities for students, collaboration to provide retail experience for disabled individuals, efforts to expand Spanish language books to our community. They also contribute directly to the general fund by donating to the library. So many years they donate thousands and thousands of dollars to the library. The Friends of Santa Maria Public Library, thank you for your leadership, your volunteer spirit, and for the commitment to learning and literacy. Congratulations on being named Business of the Quarter.
I'm a lot shorter than him. So I sincerely want to thank the Chamber for this recognition and the city. We're honored to be named Business of the Quarter as the nonprofit. He took some of my speech, though, because he's done his research. So this year, we were able to raise, through various means, $35,000 this year in 2025. It provided the library items, books, electronics that they otherwise wouldn't have. And a big reason for that was we raised a net income of $13,000 with our used bookstore in the mall. And I want the city to know the mall is thriving, because every day customers come in and say, oh, I didn't know you were here. This is the first time I've been back since COVID, you know. So it's still increasing the customers in the mall, and they love us having a bookstore in the mall. And we are so proud to support the city in handing out free books. This year has been limited, but in the past we've gone to every family event in the parks, open streets, and this year every chamber Hispanic business mixer, I've handed out books and received grants to buy used Spanish books to hand out to our community. So I'm proud to do that. This year we collaborated with many more nonprofits to hand out free books. CASA, we gave an opportunity for members of CASA to get free book every month in the used bookstore. What else? Lots of collaboration with the nonprofits, the Children's Resource Center and Referral Center, and the Elks by supporting their Queen candidate. So it's really an honor to serve our community, and it's been so much fun. We look forward to next year doing more, actually. Thank you again for this wonderful honor. Did I do good? You took a lot of my speech.
Thank you very much for being here, Santa Maria Brigetti and Pioneer FFA. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, could you please read the criteria for the public comment?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Once the public comment period has commenced, no further comments will be accepted. Just as a reminder to the public, speakers may provide public comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for public comment period. Unless a majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code Section 549542A2, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Thank you. I will start with Robert Gibson, followed by Danny Mogg, followed by Cliff Solomon. Good evening, Mr. Gibson.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm here as a resident, but also as a representative for UDW, the IHSS In-Home Supportive Services Caregivers Union. Caregiving and support services in that area is the fastest growing segment of the labor force in the United States, mostly due to our aging population. We're here to ask that the council consider taking up an ad hoc immigration committee. As a labor union, we recognize that labor is the primary cause of immigration, or the primary reason for immigration. So it's important to us. Also, amongst our members, 25%, it's estimated, are immigrants themselves. So we find it a very important issue. We realize that as the City Council's goals are to create an environment that's dynamic, that's safe, where folks can thrive economically, it's a lot of complex issues, immigration being one of the most complex. The current administration appears to be focused primarily on only one aspect, though, and that's enforcement. But there are other issues. There are issues of integration. There are issues of short-term worker programs, issues of reforming the overall immigration process. Enforcement is just one part. If the issues we are seeing in the news today were to go away tomorrow, we'd still have to deal with all of those other aspects of immigration. And administration after administration has kicked this can sort of down the road and failed to deal with it, which means that it's left to you locally to determine what you can do to create an environment where everyone can thrive, where immigrants can be integrated, where folks can feel safe, where the economy is strong. So we ask that you seriously consider taking up an ad hoc immigration committee and creating it, and using the stakeholders that are all here to speak, that are part of the community, that are willing to participate with you in it. So you're not doing it alone. You have help. We just ask for your leadership. And thank you for your time and consideration of the matter.
Thank you. Danny Mogg, followed by Cliff Solomon, followed by Sue Heitman.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and valued city officials. My name is Danny Mogg, and I'm here on behalf of the leadership team, and I am also the safety captain with the public advocacy group Indivisible. I'm also a proud resident of Santa Maria, and I live here in Santa Barbara County. Regarding the February 3rd council meeting in these chambers, I have a few points of clarification for the public record. The first item of clarification is regarding the ad hoc committee. After months and months of testimony from the community encouragement from Councilmember Soto and pleading and prodding this council to take action. I'm sad to say that I'm personally convinced that it's now a missed opportunity. After hearing the comments from the dais on February 3rd, I'm convinced that the well is now fully poisoned. And I would submit that the failure to act is not due to the inability of this council, rather it is a choice. With the utmost respect, Santa Maria no longer, second point of clarification, with the utmost respect, Santa Maria no longer has an MS-13 problem. We have an ICE problem. And the resolution that has been adopted by this body is perfectly described as a Band-Aid for a brain tumor. Regarding the description of the protests across the country as violent, I take exception to these comments, and I would like to point out that filming of federal agents is not violent protest. It is, in fact, First Amendment right guaranteed by the United States Constitution, and the Constitution is not a suggestion. And finally, shooting a mother of 3 to death through her driver's side window of her vehicle, or shooting a VA ICU nurse in the back no less than 10 times is not heroism. I'm not sure how these acts of violence align with any law enforcement protocols that I'm aware of. While the community appreciates drafting and passing of item 12A on February 3rd, I'm sure that you're all aware of the reception in the community based on social media posts, and the consensus is that the resolution is woefully inadequate. One clip of the February 3rd meeting has over 100,000 views, and unfortunately it's not flattering. In closing, I'd like to point out to the council that the organization that I am affiliated with, Indivisible, is attempting to fill the gaps of support for our community left by inaction by collecting and distributing food and necessities to our immigrant community and advocating for them, by demonstrating our disgust for the actions of this administration, giving voice to those who must remain silent. As a part of our core mission, we are committed to nonviolent exercise of our constitutional rights, and on March 28, we will host a No Kings protest here in Santa Maria and expect as many as 2,000 participants. 2,000 votes in a city of this size can and will be outcome determinant in local elections. I thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Solomon, followed by Sue Heitman, followed by Elena Magana.
Good afternoon. My name is Cliff Solomon, and I am here to address some misinformation you shared, Mayor Patino, at the last City Council meeting. I'm a member of Indivisible Santa Maria. In your public statements, you implied that the current protests across the country are necessarily violent, and by extension, that the protests in Santa Maria are violent. That is not true. Our organization works hard to ensure our rallies are peaceful. We notify the Santa Maria Police, Fire Department, and City Rangers when we hold demonstrations, and have built a friendly, cooperative relationship with Chief of Police Williams. We also have a security subgroup led by Danny Mogg that regularly schedules training sessions and deploys these individuals at our rallies. Finally, we arrange for trained legal observers to monitor our events and ensure compliance with these laws, thereby protecting our constitutional right to speak out. I also want to criticize the City Council for ignoring our request to establish the Immigration Ad Hoc Committee. It is well documented that there is strong support for this, yet you choose to dismiss our request. It reminds me of 2015 when 1,000 people attended a city planning meeting and over 1,500 attended a city council meeting to oppose the construction of an ICE facility in Santa Maria. Yet the city council at that time chose to ignore the will of the majority and allowed the facility to be built. Now we must face the cruelty of our local ICE agents. And note, Congressman Salud Carbajal has just posted on Facebook that since Kristi Noem took office in 2025, 45 individuals have been killed at the hands of the Department of Homeland Security. Because of your insistence on ignoring what is appropriate, we are running out of time to do the right thing. However, I hope the 4 of you who are ignoring our pleas will do the right thing and follow Councilmember Soto's lead by establishing an immigrant ad hoc committee that includes the local community. Thank you.
Followed by Elena Magana, followed by Wendy Chodoro.
Thank you. I'm Sue Heitman. I've been here before. I'm a retired farmer. It was great to see the FFA people here today, having spoken their initiation many times. So I wanted to say I brought my receipts this time to show that I, along with my farm workers, partners, were the first olive oil to win a national competition in all of California. That's because they were my farm workers, my partners, and my friends. So when we retired, we grew Pequot olives, and when we retired, we said, where do we want to live? And we picked Santa Maria because it's a community much like what we left in Northern California. Same demographics, same farm community. We love it here. But we were disappointed. I was very disappointed in the city council. I come from a county that supports its farm workers. And here, with a few exceptions, I don't feel the support for farm workers or the farms in our community. And so I think at a minimum, I want to say that even if you don't support immigration rights and help us with ICE raids and how to get ICE out of our community, think about your economy. Just recently, I got notice from taxable income in Central California cities is down 29% because of ICE raids. So this is your Santa Maria economy. This is your Santa Maria taxable income that you're also looking at, even if you don't care about the rest of the issues. I happen to believe that ICE raids and immigration rights should be the #1 issue for you this year. So at a minimum, I would like to also support an ad hoc committee. In fact, it should already be up and running. At a minimum, you all should be out talking at media events as much as you can about supporting your community and supporting your economy and supporting your farm workers. And at a minimum, upholding your office, just look around at what other cities are doing. And if you like, I can point out what other cities are doing to support your farm workers and support your farm economy. You all are great people at heart. I know you are. But it's time to step up. This is a community of immigrants. This is a community of farms and farm workers. Please step up.
Elena Magana, followed by Wendy Chodoro, followed by Ronaldo Rodriguez.
Hello, City Council. My name is Elena Magana. I consider myself a local. I've lived here for over 50 years, but I am an immigrant. I'm going to read you a few facts gathered by the Cal Lutheran Economic Report for 2025. Undocumented immigrants contribute $3.8 billion to Santa Barbara County GDP. Over $619 million is contributed by these same undocumented immigrants to local, state, and federal taxes. They support 11,500 jobs in the region. Statewide, they make up $1 trillion of GDP. Nationwide, it's $4 trillion of GDP. That's the 5th largest world GDP worldwide. And on a more local scale, females, Hispanic females, have a over 100% increase of bachelor's degrees, for which we should all be eminently proud that they're furthering their education. Before it was mentioned at the last meeting that Santa Maria Valley is not the same as it was in the 50s and 60s. It's true. Before it was 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. But the reason, you have to remember who was on the city council before. Largely males, largely Caucasian, very pro-growth compared to San Luis and Santa Barbara cities where I also lived for a short while. So they contributed to the large increase in this valley of population. You annexed parcels of land and kept increasing this city. And as far as the Hispanic population increase, that was due to the farmers and their efficiency in their farms out in the community, multi-season strawberry crops. And so these workers contributed to the economy of the city. And what did you want to do with them once they had done that work? Leave? No. Statistics show they stay an average of 10 to 20 years in the communities where they work. Anyway, I would like you to consider really supporting an immigrant committee, please, and be empathetic towards our causes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Magana. Wendy Tredoro, followed by Ronaldo Rodriguez, followed by Teresa Suarez.
Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Wendy Teodoro, and I am one of the community organizers with CAUSE. I'm here today to express my disappointment with all of you as our elected officials and especially our mayor. During the last City Council meeting, you heard from various community members and youth asking the City Council to create and vote in support of an immigration ad hoc committee. Yet, despite every single person who has continued to show up these past couple months, the responses from City Council, with the exception of Gloria Soto, were nonetheless disgusting and straight up racist, especially the comments made by our mayor. Comments like these from elected officials are dangerous, especially coming from a mayor, to make racist generalizations about the community they oversee. During the last meeting on February 3rd, one of the comments made by the mayor was, "These ICE officers, our police officers, our firefighters, go to work every day and they deserve to come home at night to their loved ones. They really do." And I ask you, what about every single mother and father and child that has been kidnapped by ICE? Don't they deserve to go home too? What about Renee Good and Alex Preddy? Didn't they deserve to go home? What about every volunteer that is protecting our immigrant community from the terror of this fascist administration and from ICE? Don't they deserve to go home too? Our community deserves council members that act in our interests, that will protect us and support us. Do the right thing and support the creation of an ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Ronaldo Rodriguez, followed by Teresa Suarez, followed by Lorena Martinez.
Buenas tardes, alcaldesa Patino y concejales.
Good evening.
Mi nombre es Reinaldo Rodríguez, organizador comunitario Comicot, aquí en Santa María.
My name is Ronaldo Rodriguez. ¿Con quién está?
Micot.
With MICOP.
Estoy aquí en solidaridad con nuestra comunidad trabajadora, la que sostiene y da vida a la economía del condado y la ciudad también.
I'm here as a worker working in the community and giving life to the economy of this city.
Les invito a reflexionar cada vez que llega a su casa y se sienta en su mesa con su familia. Detrás de esa comida o de muchos productos que consumimos estuvo la mano de un trabajador inmigrante, quizá indocumentado.
I'd like for you to reflect on every time that you sit down at a meal at your home to think of all the produce and food that you're eating from, and that comes from an immigrant working hard to gather that.
En tiempos difíciles los llamaron esenciales. Hoy muchos son tratados como si fueran criminales.
In these difficult times, a lot of these workers are treated as criminals.
Por eso les pido que como concejales se sumen a una acción más concreta para apoyar a nuestra comunidad.
So I'm pleading that you have a resolution to come up with a stronger commitment to help the community.
Una resolución reconociendo lo que está pasando no es suficiente. Se necesitan medidas reales que den confianza y protección a quienes viven y trabajan aquí.
Just acknowledging that things are going on is not enough, requesting more action to be more effective.
Hoy visité algunas de las familias que han sido separadas.
Today I visited some of the families who have been separated.
Se siente la impotencia de no poder hacer más.
The feeling of not being able to do more is felt.
He visto de primera mano cómo madres y padres luchan por salir adelante solos, como niños lloran por sus papás en una situación profundamente dolorosa e inhumana.
I've seen how families, mothers and fathers struggle and seeing their kids crying for their parents, and it's a situation very hurtful.
Tengo fe que establecer un comité ad hoc de inmigración sería un paso importante para velar y alzar la voz por miles de residentes que vivimos en esta ciudad, independientemente de nuestro estatus migratorio.
I have faith that establishing this committee ad hoc for the immigrants here would be a benefit to the community.
Estamos de acuerdo en algo fundamental. Si alguien ha infringido la ley, debe enfrentar el debido proceso, pero no es justo ni correcto tratar a todos como criminales.
We are in agreement that if somebody does break the law, they should be held accountable, but it's not fair that all are treated as criminals.
Todos los seres humanos merecen dignidad y respeto, la garantía de un proceso legal sin ser juzgado por su origen o el color de su piel.
All are human despite their legal status, without judging, just for being different color of skin.
Gracias por su tiempo. Los exhorto que esté al lado correcto de la justicia para nuestra comunidad agrícola y trabajadora. Muchas gracias.
Thank you for your time. I exhort that things would be corrected and justice prevail.
Thank you. Teresa Suarez, followed by Lorena Martinez, followed by Sophia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lorena, and I am a student at a local high school. I am here to speak about the urgent need for the formation of an immigration ad hoc committee. This issue is personal to me. When people like our own city mayors say that immigrants are criminals, they are talking about families like mine. My uncle is not a criminal. He was and continues to be a hardworking man who, like all of you, has dreams and wants to live a good life. He paid his taxes, paid his rent on time, had no debts, and no criminal record. He worked hard and stayed out of trouble. Yet one day, without warning, he was kidnapped by ICE. We didn't know where he was. We only found out the next day that he had already been deported to Tijuana. Everything happened so fast that we had no chance to understand what was happening, let alone help him. Our family was left shocked and devastated. This is just one of many stories of someone who has been impacted by ICE. Real families are being torn apart. Children are living with fear and uncertainty. Parents are afraid to go to work. This is happening here in our own community. While this city slacks off, volunteers, community organizations, and even youth are stepping up to protect families, our community. In October, this council said you would vote on the Immigration Ad Hoc Committee in February, yet here we are. There has been no action taken, and this is something that can no longer be delayed. Lastly, I want to strongly urge this council to formally establish an Immigration Ad Hoc Committee and to request this item to be agendized for the next council meeting. This ad hoc committee would help address our community's concerns on the increasing ICE activity, on the fears of increasing ICE activity within Santa Maria. Thank you.
Thank you. So I called it Teresa. Oh.
Good evening, Mayor Patino and council members. My name is Teresa. I am one of the coordinators for a youth program with MyCup and in the Santa Barbara County and a member of the 805 Immigrant Coalition. We're here again to respectfully request your support in establishing an immigration ad hoc committee. And I also want to mention the resolution from last meeting. One of our council members offered to send her suggestions to the resolution by email. However, you unfortunately chose not to accept them. That decision matters because by refusing to include those perspectives, you are generalizing our entire community as criminals. There has been no clear support for our rights, not for due process, not for our safety, not for our humanity. You said you're unsure what to believe, what's happening, yet you've seen and followed the narrative that our community is responsible for violent protest. You mentioned that ICE officers deserve to return home safely to their families. I agree that everyone deserves safety, but where is the sympathy for the members of our community who are not violent, who were killed, and who never made it home to their families? When you make these comments, you contribute to an environment that can justify further violence. There's no protection for people in this room if we're simply observing or legally documenting what is happening out there. That should concern all of us. You stated that migrants should not have come to this country, but let's not forget. I want you to guess who was the people that brought slavery to this country? Who committed genocides against our Native people, who raped and were violent to this land? These are historical facts. Violence did not begin with our community, yet today we continue to see abuse in detention centers of children, of those realities that are often minimized and ignored and not shown in the news. Let's see that side as well. You say that this is not, that was your experience, but we're experiencing this every day. You have the power to make a difference, but you're choosing not to. You quoted those who, when you quoted other people when they said they want to go back to the small town that was back in the 1955s. That language echoes resentments that we have heard before. Maybe make America great again. It's similar to that. Sentiments that exclude and divide. If you do not stand by those ideas, then now is the time to say so clearly, because things are escalating in our community, and it's already carrying the trauma that you all refuse to acknowledge.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
Mr. Escobedo
Teresa?
has a question.
Teresa, I have a question, just clarification. You might want to go back on your speech. You mentioned that the resolution saying that all immigrants are criminals. Is that an accurate statement? Can you share that a little bit? I didn't understand that part. Could you please repeat that part? It was you mentioned that the resolution saying that all immigrants are criminals, or basically saying that all immigrants are criminals?
No, but I was saying that in that resolution, it was pretty much empty. So, but I'm going back to what Patino had mentioned, that it was just from last meeting, because she did make a statement. It was pretty much just saying that our community is seen as criminals. She didn't make any statements refusing not to say that. But it's just, she didn't move on in agreeing to what one of the council members was petitioning, but it's just general. It wasn't in the resolution.
Okay, just want a clarification on that. Thank you.
Sophia and Maria Salguero.
Lower this a little bit. Hello, everybody. Council, I'm curious, because I am kind of new to this. I think this is maybe my third meeting. So I'm curious what the difference was in the resolution that you guys passed. What differences that you guys actually established. I read it. It seems very short. What the difference was, and then to what was already passed. Okay. At a glance, nothing is different. Have our plights to you fallen on deaf ears? How can you continue to justify the ethnic cleansing that is happening in your district? How can you continue to ignore statistical facts regarding criminal activity in regards to race? There is statistics out there that show just how many crimes are committed by non-immigrant people than by immigrants. Stop criminalizing our God-given right to roam the earth. And also, please agendize and support the ad hoc committee to protect our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Escobedo?
Yeah, just one quick question, Sophia. And I asked this once because of just clarification when you mentioned that there's an criminalizing, you mentioned it about the city of Santa Maria criminalizing the immigrant community?
Specifically the mayor, yes.
Can you say it on this stage? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, I was specifically directing that to the mayor's comments.
Okay.
And I would really like you to be specific about the comment. I have never, ever, ever characterized the immigrants as being criminals.
I'll have to go back and look at the press newspaper article that I read. I'll bring it up. I think maybe if you give me an hour to search it up, I'll look it up for you.
My grandparents would be very upset with me if they knew that. My grandparents would be very upset if they knew I'd called them criminals. So, yeah, I have never said that.
Then establish clear policies for the community to make that line clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And Maria Salguero?
Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Salguero. I am Senior Immigration Attorney at the Immigrant Legal Defense Center here in Santa Maria. I was also raised here in Santa Maria. I also ran for City Council to sit up there in this last election. And I did so because I knew that if Trump was reelected, we would be in this position where we would be fighting against these nuanced words. I think it's a little unfair to ask these questions when we all knew what was happening here. It's context, right? There's a saying in Spanish, and it could be a little vulgar, but it says, hasta el perro sabe cuando lo patean al drede. Even a dog knows when he's kicked on accident or on purpose. And Mayor Patino, with all due respect, you came into the last meeting with notes, with names, with receipts, to a conversation where a resolution was passed in support, alleged support of our community. What are we expected to feel? What are we expected to think? Now, I want to share something. I received a call this weekend from someone in our community who works at a local organization who asked me, she said, Maria, I have someone from our local community who was detained here locally by ICE officers, transferred to a local ICE holding facility and raped by ICE officers. And while she was in there being raped, she could hear other women also being sexually assaulted. She said, what can we do? And I thought back to the comment made of Marilyn Ferris and how infuriating that was. I had never heard of this incident. It was very unfortunate. I hope that that rage, that concern that we had for that victim, we also have for the victims that are undergoing here in our community this violence perpetrated by ICE. Do not compare ICE with our local law enforcement officers or with firefighters. And I say this because ICE is not here to enforce criminal law.
Immigration law is not criminal law, it's civil, it's administrative. These officers are glorified civil administrative agents, very much like tax officers or parking, like, ticket officers that have been given audacity to harass our community. So to compare them to officers that have training, that have education, that have experience is offensive. I'd be offended if I was one of the chiefs here sitting in this room. I want to encourage all of you, if it's not the ad hoc committee, then what is it? What is it? You were elected for a reason. You ran a campaign on being an immigrant. Talk to us. Do something. We're desperate.
Madam Mayor?
Yes. Excuse me. Okay.
I have a
Mr.
question.
Escobedo?
You mentioned that somebody was raped in an ICE facility?
What's your question?
Yeah, you mentioned that somebody was raped in an ICE facility? Is
Yes.
that correct? What happened with that case?
I can't share that. It's attorney-client privilege information. If you want more
So
information,
you took it?
I'm sorry?
You took the case?
I can't answer that question. It's attorney-client.
Okay. So it hasn't been
Information.
solved?
I can't answer that. It's attorney-client privileged information. If you are curious, though, come talk to me, Carlos. You have my phone number. We can talk about different ways of how we can collaborate
Are you
together.
going to share with me your client? You're not going to break that
No,
client
I'm not going to
contact
break
information?
client attorney-client privilege.
Then
no.
why would you like to talk with me?
Because there's so much you can do beyond just this question in this case.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Question.
Okay. As long as he has a question, he has a question. Okay. Got the answer? Okay. Aaron is it Crocker? It's Crocker, yeah. Okay. Mr. Crocker?
Good evening, council, mayor, citizens of Santa Maria. I come to you as a neighbor. I'm from Lompoc. I'm not from Santa Maria. I do spend a lot of time in Santa Maria, though. I come here, I spend my money. I like doing a lot of things here. A lot of things that we don't have in Lompoc that I wish we did. So I was reading news. I like to keep up on things, and I came across an article that was just really hard to read, and I think it's what everybody has already addressed tonight, but it was important enough for me to drive out from Lompoc just to say that I'm kind of embarrassed to be y'all's neighbor right now, okay? We have our own problems, don't get me wrong, but to hear the comments made by the mayor of this city and knowing who the constituents are is just, it's embarrassing. It was almost like, it's hard to believe just how ridiculous those comments were. Talking about violent protests, and I know people have already commented on it tonight, but have you been to a protest? Truly. I don't think so. I think you watch a little too much news, maybe a little too many headlines, talking about millions of people coming in that have not been vetted. Do you know how many people in our current federal government administration have not been vetted? The guy that is in charge of vetting people for the administration has not been fully vetted. He refuses to turn in his final form that would fully vet him for that position. Talking about immigrants coming over here that haven't been fully vetted and let into the country, millions of them. That just sounds like a Fox News headline. It's embarrassing. All right? I'm a neighbor. I don't have to be here, but it's important enough to me because we are fighting our own battles there as well. I encourage you to come out to a protest. They're great. Everybody's nice. Sometimes we sing songs. I bring my kids. I have 4 kids. I bring them all. Very safe. Very not violent. In fact, most of the violence has been perpetrated by ICE and the federal government. In 2025, I think it's 32 people died in ICE custody. 8 people shot as well. That's 40. We're, I think, 46 days into this year. We've already got 2 shot and killed. I think 8 have already died in custody. We're not even 2 months into the year. Think about what the violence truly is and where you're seeing it from. You know how many ICE officials have died in 2025? 0. This year, 0. I got 10 seconds. I really did like one thing you said, and I guess I'll close with that, which is, these are your words, and I'm using them now. We're not the bad guys. We really are not the bad guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. We will now move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion?
Madam Mayor, really quick, we had 2 written comments received
Oh, okay, yes.
for public comment from Pam Gates and Gary Hall.
Yes. Thank you. And on the consent calendar, did you want to make any changes?
I have a correction on an item under the
Okay.
consent calendar.
Okay.
It's for 11D2, correction to attachment B. Age of the buses is listed as 9 years and should be 12 years for all 6 heavy-duty floor buses.
A2,
The 11D2.
11D2.
B2,
Yep,
okay.
disposition, older, yep, the transit vehicles.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if there's
Yes.
not, I would like to move to,
I have,
approve.
I have one person wishing to speak on the consent calendar.
okay,
So, Mr. Wheeler?
yeah.
Yes.
Gotta catch the.
If you're Mr. Wheeler,
I'm Mr. Wheeler.
you are. That's who I'm calling.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council, and diligent and long-suffering city staff. I'm Jeffrey Wheeler. I'm a teacher, a mechanical engineer, and a bicyclist and pedestrian advocate. Consent calendar item 11D4 asks you to approve a crosswalk. This is a good idea, and the location is okay. The diagonal ADA curb ramps are not. I recommend that you send this back to staff to update our standard for ADA, that stands for Americans with Disabilities Act, curb ramps. The appropriate standard to use is commonly referred to as PROWAG, that is, Public Right-of-Way Access Guidelines. Our city's ADA ramp standard specifies single diagonal ramps that point to the center of an intersection. Diagonal ramps are undesirable because wheelchair users, walker frame users, and mothers with baby strollers and fathers with baby strollers must step out further into the street before turning in the direction that they want to go. Landing requirements on the street surface require a larger corner radius. Motorists cannot easily tell which direction a pedestrian is going to walk. Directional cues are not provided for pedestrians with visual impairment. PROWAG specifies 2 ramps, one for each direction of travel. This gives directional cues to visually impaired pedestrians, and it clearly lets motorists know which direction a pedestrian is walking, whether they're going to cross this street or this street. They're also more convenient for all pedestrians. A 2-ramp design also allows for a reduced corner radius, that is, a sharper corner. A reduced corner radius reduces the crossing distance and the time and space a pedestrian could be struck by a motorist. It also reduces the time a motorist must wait for a pedestrian to cross. It also reduces the area of pavement that the city must construct and maintain. It increases the area for parking cars. A reduced corner radius makes a motorist slow down, which improves safety for everyone. Please send this back to staff for improvement to our city ADA ramp standard. This will make our streets safer for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone that wishes to pull anything from the consent calendar, or they wish to discuss any item?
11D4 for a separate vote and discussion.
Okay,
Do not have.
okay, do I have a motion
I moved
on
on everything but
D4?
the 11D4.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second for everything except 11D4. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, just to correct, we had a motion by Escobedo and second by Aguilera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are you ready, Mayor?
Yes.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera?
Aye.
Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Aye.
Mayor Patino?
Aye. Okay, item 11D4. Were you going to respond to this, Mr. Fulgoni?
I'd be happy to. I don't,
Yes, that's
did
what I
you
was
have-
hoping you would
Did you have
do.
any questions,
okay.
or did you just want to
If you could respond to the comment that was
Sure.
made.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Wheeler, for your comment. We work with Mr. Wheeler all the time. I appreciate his comments, and I think that he has a lot of good points. And I think the distinction that needs to be made is that this is a retrofit, and this was a request of Allen Hancock College. And in every single project, we look for opportunities to do something perfect, and then sometimes we have to draw back what we do. And in this particular case, being a retrofit, it does comply with ADA in that it allows for our standard curb ramps that we install throughout the city. Almost 99.9% of the time, it's a typical curb ramp for us. When you're building something new, and you have the space and you have the time and thought to think about where you're going to put it, yes, the directional curb ramps are the preferred alternative to that. However, being a retrofit, and also we worked with Allen Hancock College. This came as a request from them just back in fall. And the expediency that they want this done was a consideration. And then also the college gave us comment in our traffic committee, and they have concerns about the actual radius. So Jeffrey was talking about the sharper radius for pedestrians. Well, they get a lot of truck deliveries at this location, and so there was consideration of whether or not the trucks could make that turn and pull out. So not everything can be perfect. We do try to do it, but it's just not always the best solution for every single area. And it was debated during the traffic committee as well, and so you have the recommendation before you.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Fulgoni? Hearing none?
Sorry, I do have a question.
Sure.
When you mean perfect, what do you mean by that?
So what Jeffrey's talking about is a better solution for a pedestrian. There's no doubt, right? The thing is that in order to do that, we have to go out into the street. We need to essentially crunch the area that the truck is going to turn. So when we design a new project or design a new roadway, we can take that into account.
Mm-hmm.
We can build it perfectly to new standards, to new PROAG standards. But when you're retrofitting something, there's always constraints. And so with the given constraint and the consideration for the school, the cost, the expediency, it was kind of an overriding factor for us to say, okay, we should probably just do a standard ramp here.
Mm-hmm. Is the school paying for some of that retrofitting?
No, we are.
Mm-hmm. How much more would it cost to go back and
A
see
ramp
if
like
we
that
can-
is probably about 3 times the cost of a current ramp, just because of the formwork and everything that you need to do. We need to come out into the road and kind of change the span rules and everything. So there's a lot more concrete work that goes into it. You change the drainage. So it's a considerable change to what we're used to. We did a couple of these ramps on, as a matter of fact, from Jeffrey's comments on our Battles Trail. There was some changes we were able to make last minute, given his input, where it made sense. And we've also, on our new ATP project that we have coming on Fessler, there's a couple of areas where we're going to fit those in because it makes sense to do them there.
Mm-hmm.
So, great to do, just in that particular location. There's other design considerations that,
like the
kind of-
turning of those trucks?
like the turning and access that came from the college. That's really the primary reason. And then just the speed in which we're able to do it. Because if we do that ramp, then we're going to go back. We're going to spend a little bit more time on design. We're going to figure out how do we fit it, what's right. There's just more consideration that goes into that. And the district really wanted, Hancock really wanted this done quickly. And so you tend to go to more of a standard, frankly, something easier when you do that, when you're looking for time.
Is there a way for us to move forward with the retrofitting and then come back to see if it can be enhanced later on?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It'll cost money because we're going to install this new ADA ramp. But I mean, in the scheme of things of what we're talking about, of course, we could, change it into the future. You're probably talking about, $25,000.
More
Probably,
into
yeah.
the future?
Well, if we build it and then we demo it out, we build it again, it's probably about $25,000.
Oh, okay, because we would have to demolish what was retrofitted.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions of Mr. Fulgoni?
Would we be able, because I see here, what I'm hearing from city staff is that there's urgency from the college to move forward with this retrofit. Would we be able to include in the motion for us to come back, perhaps as we're also having budgetary discussions, to see if this particular crosswalk could be improved with that ADA accessibility that was brought up?
The only thing I would caution is that the city, we have hundreds of areas where there are ramps where there is no ramp. And so when we spend more money on a ramp, we're going to get less ramp somewhere else, or it'll take us longer to implement. So we certainly, in most areas where we retrofit and we don't have grant dollars, we tend to go with the standard ramp because it's cheaper, it's faster, and it gets us into ADA compliance. There are specific cases where this makes sense, and since it's already been studied by the traffic committee, this was their recommendation. Like it's been a fairly rigorous process in getting us to this point. Certainly, if we wanted to consider this in the budget, we could, and we could provide a cost of what that might look like.
For further consideration then?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay, what is the pleasure here on 11D4?
I would move forward with the retrofit with that caveat that staff comes back with crunching those numbers for future budgetary discussion.
Okay.
What was that again? The last part?
With staff crunching in the numbers of how much it would cost to include that ADA ramp
Oh, okay.
for budgetary discussion.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes. Mr.
I would like
Escobedo.
to move this item as it is,
Okay.
since,
But there's a motion on the table,
yeah,
so
but
is there a second?
it already fell, right? Oh, you
Oh, you
seconded.
did? I didn't
okay,
hear.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
We
didn't hear you. Second.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Then comments?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think that it should stay as it is. I think it's adding more for future expenditures, and if you do it here, then we're gonna need to do it everywhere else.
So we have a motion and a second, don't we
I
have to
think
vote?
it's important that take in consideration that money is tied, and not just right now, but always in all public, and public money is always tight and it's short. And if adding eventually more, that means that it was mentioned by Mr. Fulgoni, we're gonna take away from other areas in other cities, so in other parts of the city. So I don't think it's fair for other residents not to have access to ramps.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera?
Aye.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Aye.
And Mayor Patino?
Aye.
Why are we saying aye?
Pass?
Okay, motion carries. Okay. The next will be a report by Dave Rowland, City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. This report, I attended the City Managers Conference last week. A number of sessions of ethics and approachability as a city manager with the community and working with them, and then also with an interesting discussion on protecting the vulnerable, a policing discussion with a couple of authors of books. So talked to Chief Williams about that a little bit. It's kind of good conference to come back to. We have the next council meeting. We have the general plan annual report. The Measure A annual report as well be on that date. That's all.
Thank you. We'll now proceed with oral reports from council members. Ms. Flores, would you like to start?
On February 7th, Communify had 211 in Lompoc, and it was really great. They had a lot of people out there. I went there, I sat on the board for Communify. So I think we have one here in Santa Maria too, soon. But it was a great event, wonderful event.
Mr. Escobedo?
Nothing to report, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Ms. Aguilar Hernandez?
Yes. I went to the panel. It was regarding Medi-Cal. It was put on by several agencies, one called Tu Tiempo Digital, and it was regarding the Medi-Cal benefits that the county is dealing with, and that was on the 17th. I'm sorry, it was last week on Thursday, the 12th.
That's it? Okay. Ms. Soto?
Yes. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I don't have my notes here. On February 11th, I attended, I think it was a virtual call, on the upcoming goal setting session that we're going to be having for the council. On February 13th, I attended the Elected Leaders Forum on Homelessness. Are you chairing that now?
No.
Oh.
No, Supervisor Hartman couldn't be there. That's why.
Yeah. That's all.
Okay. February 3rd, I did the Ben Hayes show. The 6th, I did the Leadership Santa Maria Valley Government Day. And on the 9th, did the Mayor's Teen Council Planning Meeting. On the 10th, Recreation and Parks Commission meeting. On the 11th, did the North County Subregional. And on the 13th, the Elected Leaders Forum to address homelessness and housing, which is done virtually, which is great, that we can all get together in the county and do that. On the 11th, on the 15th, no, I didn't do that. So I had volunteered to bring, and I can't find it now, a list of people that the Historical Society has all these tiles that were across the street. They had to recover, and they took them over to the building. So there's probably about 80, 90 people listed on these tiles. And I said, I will read the list at City Council, and I think I left the list at home. So I will have to bring it to the next meeting. That makes me mad that I did that. But there was a lot of people on the list I knew, and I thought they would want to pick up those tiles, and probably will put them someplace else. And so, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Madam Mayor, before you adjourn the meeting.
Yes.
I received an email from our city manager regarding the ad hoc immigration committee item that was brought to the council by myself for discussion. And I believe we discussed that item back in October 21st of last year. And during discussion, during that council discussion, we had talked about that item coming back at a February meeting. However, because it was tabled, based on the email that I received, it looks like in order for that to be re-agendized, it either needs to be agendized by you, who has authority to put things on the agenda, Madam Mayor, or it needs to come forward through a motion by a council member, then a second, and then a majority vote again. And so if you're not going to agendize that, Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion to bring that item back to a future city council agenda,
Okay.
preferably in March.
So that's a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
It's a motion and a second.
Madam Mayor, just so I can
Yes.
clarify for parliamentary purposes, it's to take it off the table and then it will be agendized at the next meeting.
In March.
Oh,
Okay.
well, we have to take them.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a
I beg
second
pardon?
to take it off the
We have to
table.
vote on it, right?
You have to vote on it
You have
now.
to vote on it.
It's parliamentary and it doesn't have to be agendized. So-
Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. And I found my list.
Great.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera?
Aye.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Aye.
Mayor Patino?
Aye. Okay.
Oh, Madam Mayor, I
Yes.
know that we just voted on this item for it to come, to get off it being tabled and come back.
Taken
for-
off the table.
Taken off the table to come back for discussion. What would you like to see in that staff report so that there's that clarity from city staff, to city staff?
Rather than discussing it at this
Yeah.
time, which would be inappropriate, we
Yeah,
would
we
bring it
can't
back in the
discuss it.
identical form it was in previously,
Yeah.
which is what was tabled.
Okay.
I would, before, are we
wait.
on to comments now?
Well,
Go ahead. Let's go. Councilmember Escobedo.
Escobedo, go ahead.
Yeah, can you repeat that part, just clarification?
What was put on the table in October is what will come back, which was a very simple staff report of a discussion and action item on whether or not to form an ad hoc committee by this body. That's what will come back. This is the identical form that you had in October.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Aguilera Hernandez?
Yeah, you were going to read something. I have something I would like to read before we close the meeting.
Yes. This is length, I'll just do part of it tonight because it's rather lengthy. I'm going to do the last names. Adams would be Mark and Elva. Alt, A-U-L-T, Baker, Robert. Barber, two families of Barber, Harley, Murray and Evelyn. Barry, Dr. John and Dr. Robert. Barton, Cecil and Bibi. Bell, Bill, Kathy, Joe, Lisa. I'm going to have to do the first names too because they won't know. Bennick, Benton, Frank and Luell. Berry Hill, Bob and Camille. Souls touched and were united. Brandon, Brass, that's John and Anna. Brundage, two Brundages. Haas, Moses and Bill. Buckley, Don, Bertha and Bertha. Burke, Joseph and Anna. Katie, C-A-D-Y. Beth, Renee and Tamara. Carvello. Case, Dr. Harold Case, and I know he and his wife are gone, so there's probably someone that would want the tile. Connernown, Larry. Cornauer, maybe it's the same one. Larry, Jerry, Edith Fay. Cole, that's E&D Trucking. Collins and Renfro, Renee. Dahlman, DeCourt, Deathridge. DeGeis, in memory of Iowa and R. DeGeis. Dunlap. Dutra, that's Tony, Linda, Brian, Brandon. Edwards, Vernon, and Olin. Emmanuel. Epperson, Faulkner. Forster, and they're the same names on both Dennis, Patty, Brian, and Jeff. Freeman, Fugate. Both Fugates, Mark and Bert. Golville, Gross, Gould, that's Ed Gould. Hahn, Harris, Heil, Helton, Highfill, Hogue, Hollisters, Hollow, Haas, Hubble, Hughes, Jackson, Jameson, that's the Lee family. Johnson, Wayne and Kathy, and Leonard. Kelly, Kim, Kilpatrick, Kithcart, Kriebel, Lair, that's Wendy and Jeff. Larson, Letta, Lee, Leo Magner, that's Magner Maloney Funeral Home, Meyer, Miller, 2 Millers, Howard and Jeannie. And I will stop there reading it, and I can read the names. So if anyone knows anyone, or if these are your tiles, go down to the Museum of History. And you had something to say, Ms.?
Yes, this was a response to the public comment that I personally believe. I don't believe that immigrants are criminals, and I reject that characterization completely. It is not supported by facts, it is not consistent with my experience, and it is inaccurate to say that about families and communities I personally have spent my career serving. Before we had the government, we had each other. And it is our job to support our community. I'm the daughter of immigrant farm workers from Mexico. I worked alongside my parents in the strawberry fields as a child. My family lived in extreme poverty. I have lived the immigrant experience. And the immigrants that I know are hardworking people who sacrifice everything for their children so that they can have a better life. A child of immigrants who work in the strawberry fields, I chose to dedicate my legal career to serving families like the one I grew up in over the past decade. And this is what I'm talking about. We can't rely on the government to save us. We must help each other. I can tell you what I've done over the last decade. At Legal Aid Foundation of Santa Barbara County, I represented survivors of domestic violence, many of whom were undocumented immigrants. Through a Violence Against Women Act, I assisted immigrant victims in obtaining U visas and T visas, which is a critical legal pathway to protect survivors of violence and human trafficking. When I worked at California Rural Legal Assistance as an attorney, I continued helping immigrant clients apply for U visas and navigate our complex immigration system, standing beside families at some of the most difficult and frightening moments of their lives. In my own law practice, I have continued to serve immigrant families as minors' counsel, working class families. So I completely reject the notion. Even on the city council, I have consistently advocated for the interest of our immigrant families. I join my colleagues in requesting that the city send an official letter to the Department of Homeland Security seeking detailed information about ICE enforcement actions. I was also the second vote for the ad hoc committee, so the statement made by Cliff Solomon today is completely inaccurate when he said that there were 4 council members. I am not going to stand for inaccurate statements that are made during public comment. I will correct it because that is not appropriate to say those things simply because it's public comment. They must be accurate comments. And I was extremely saddened because I emailed Cliff Solomon over a month ago. And I said, that is not true. I was the second vote, just like I was the second vote today. So when people want to come and take public comment, I want them to be accurate and I want them to say things that are true. Now, my votes and my actions up here are really important. That's why I represent District 4. This is not a partisan issue. Support for immigrants and recognition of their contributions to our nation has always been a bipartisan American value. America leads the world because we draw our strength from every country and every corner of the world. And by doing so, we continuously renew and enrich our nation. If we ever close the door to new Americans, our leadership in the world would be lost. Immigrants have enriched America from every race, creed, and ethnic background, and that they have helped make us the great nation we are today. Here in Santa Maria and across the Central Coast, we see this truth every single day. Our economy in California and across the world runs on labor of immigrant workers. Our neighborhoods are strengthened by immigrant families. Our schools are filled with the children of immigrants who dream of contributing to this country just as their parents have. Our community is richer culturally, economically, and spiritually because of immigrants. Immigrants are our neighbors, our coworkers, our friends, and our family. They are part of the fabric of this community, and I will continue to stand with them as I have for the past decade. Now I'm going to say this in Spanish so that it doesn't get misconstrued. Nosotros sabemos que los inmigrantes no son criminales. So rechazo esa caracterización por completo. No está respaldada por los hechos y no es consistente con mi experiencia y no refleja para las familias y comunidades a las que he dedicado mi carrera a servir. Soy hija de trabajadores agrícolas inmigrantes de Michoacán, México. Trabajé junto a mis padres en los campos de fresa cuando era niña. Mi familia vivió esa vida dura y vinieron a este país para buscar una vida mejor. Yo elegí dedicar mi carrera legal a servir a las familias como la mía y mi historial durante la última década habla por sí mismo. En la Fundación de Asistencia Legal del Condado de Santa Bárbara, representé a sobrevivientes de violencia doméstica, muchas de las cuales eran inmigrantes indocumentadas. A través de esa subsección y la Ley de Violencia contra las Mujeres, asistí a víctimas inmigrantes para que obtuvieran una visa U y visa T. Estas son vías legales críticas que protegen a sobrevivientes de violencia doméstica. También trabajé en asistencia legal rural de California. Ya tengo 10 años trabajando para servir a la comunidad inmigrante. En mi propio despacho ayudo a niños y a familias inmigrantes cuando soy abogada gratis por los niños. En el Consejo Municipal de Santa María he abogado consistentemente por los intereses familiares inmigrantes. Cuando vino un señor hoy a hablar y decir que yo no había apoyado, eso es completamente falso. Yo le mandé un email a Cliff Solomon diciéndole que yo había sido el segundo voto y hoy estuvo aquí y dijo que había 4 consejeros que no estaban de parte de eso. Esto no es asunto partidista. El apoyo a los inmigrantes y el reconocimiento de sus contribuciones a nuestra nación siempre ha sido un valor estadounidense. Estados Unidos lidera el mundo porque obtenemos nuestra fuerza de cada país y de cada región del mundo. Y al hacerlo, continuamos, renovamos y enriquecemos nuestra nación. Si alguna vez cerramos la puerta a los nuevos estadounidenses, nuestro liderazgo en el mundo pronto se perderá. Los inmigrantes han enriquecido a los Estados Unidos desde cada raza, credo y origen étnico y han ayudado a hacer de nuestro la gran nación que somos hoy. Aquí en Santa María y a lo largo de la costa central vemos esta verdad todos los días. Nuestra economía del mundo y de California funciona gracias al trabajo de los trabajadores inmigrantes. Nuestros vecindarios se fortalecen gracias a las familias inmigrantes. Nuestras escuelas están llenas de hijos de inmigrantes que sueñan contribuir a este país tal como lo han hecho sus padres. Nuestra comunidad es más rica cultural, económica y espiritualmente gracias a ellos. Los inmigrantes no son criminales. Son nuestros vecinos, nuestros compañeros de trabajo, nuestros amigos y nuestra familia. Son parte del tejido de esta comunidad y seguiré apoyándolos, como lo he hecho durante la última década. 10 años he sido abogada y 10 años he hecho trabajo para los inmigrantes, porque eso es lo que refleja mi historial, eso es lo que exige mi conciencia, y eso es que la gente se merece de su representante de Santa María. Gracias. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Escobedo.
As the only immigrant nacido y criado en Mexico, now I feel more secure. I just want to feel that. I just want to put that up there. And we're going to talk this when we come back with this immigration ad hoc committee. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. And telling you guys, you might not hear something that you like or might not like, but I'm glad that finally this council, and it's not about me or you and me and you, it's about the council as a whole. It's time to make decisions. We've been putting aside so many decisions, and just not about this item, but all sort of items. And somebody said a really interesting saying here from the US, kicking the can to the next one, and next term, and next year. And I personally had enough. I think we need to get things done and move on and just, I'm not talking just about immigration, I'm talking about every single item that we talk in this dais, and just answer to the people. And I'm looking forward for upcoming meetings and see what comes back to the council.
Thank you, Mr. Escobedo. This evening, I would like to close this meeting in honor of Linda Glines. Linda Glines was a firefighter in the city of Santa Maria and retired here in 1999. I don't have her obituary with me because it's just a recent passing, but when I do get it, I will be reading it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.